Breaking news this afternoon, the deal may be done. An announcement on the Natural Bridge sale, and we have the details.
Later, the Sochi Olympic Games began this morning in Russia, but safety concerns and controversy over an anti-gay law have deterred some Western leaders from attending.
Another storm smacks the Midwest, and we have the latest on weather in Rockbridge County for the upcoming week.
And later, we'll tell you about a colorful celebration of the new year occurring well after January 1st. All this and more on the Rockbridge Report.
From the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Jeb Purcell.
And I'm Laura Lindsay Tatum.
Natural Bridge finally has a new owner. The buyer is the Virginia Conservation Legacy Fund, affiliated with Kissitoo Healthcare, a nonprofit based in Roanoke. The buyer plans to donate the property as a state park. The Conservation Fund paid owner Angelo Puglisi more than $8 million for the bridge and nearly 1,600 surrounding acres. But that was a fraction of the property's estimated value of more than $40 million. Puglisi also received a tax credit as part of the complex deal. The buyers say Natural Bridge should become a state park by 2015.
The Sochi Winter Olympics kicked off this morning with freestyle skiing, figure skating, and snowboarding. But the opening ceremony won't take place until tomorrow night. CNN's Ivan Watson has more.
We're here at Sochi Airport, and this is the scene that greets athletes when they land here in this Black Sea city. We're waiting for dozens of members of Team USA to come walking out those doors. Welcome to Sochi. What do you think?
So far, so good. Just landed.
Are you psyched?
Yes, of course. It's the Olympics.
While you were flying, there were some more security alerts about possible explosive toothpaste. Did that get to you? Does that stress you out?
Yesterday we were doing processing and then we were traveling all morning, so no, we hadn't heard about that, but I think that really our job here is to just focus on what we can control and what we can do, and that's how we're going to perform at our first Olympics. Yeah.
And any message you want to send back home?
Hey everyone, we're in Sochi. This has been 10 years in the making. We're so excited to be here.
Obviously, we all want to go home with medals. Right now I'm more like focused, or not focused, but just excited about opening ceremonies. In Vancouver, that was, my favorite part aside from racing.
What about your team's chances, you think, these Olympics?
As I said, I think we're ready to surprise somebody. I mean, we're not overly packed with NHL stars, but I think we're ready to surprise one or two teams.
Good luck, guys. All right, so there we have members of, right here, the Latvian hockey team arriving. They're a powerful force in ice hockey. We've had members of Team USA coming in. The colors are pretty bright. If you then look over here, as Lithuania, you're Lithuania, yeah? Lithuania arriving here. And you get the sense of the excitement building here in Sochi, just at the airport right now, when we're just hours away from the opening of the Winter Olympics. Ivan Watson, CNN, Sochi, Russia.
The weeks leading to today's kickoff have not been easy for athletes and political leaders. Security concerns, arguments about gay rights, and still questionable hosting abilities have topped the list of concerns. Recently, snowboard sensation Shaun White pulled out of slopestyle, one of the newest and most anticipated events. The opening ceremony will begin at 7 p.m. tomorrow. You can also follow the Olympic action on the Rockbridge Report website.
The owner of Wintergreen Resort in Central Virginia announced Tuesday that he intends to sell the property. Jim Justice bought the resort in June 2012 for $16.5 million. Justice says he is looking for the right person to purchase the property, but if they don't come along, he will remain the owner.
Council members are just a few weeks away from approving a spending plan for a new Waddell Elementary School. They were brought up to speed on the final design plans and estimated cost last week. Reporter Krista Huber has more.
Lexington school officials weren't worried when their architect's final cost estimate for a new Waddell came in $1 million over the city manager's recommended budget. Now city council members are saying the higher price won't stop their approval of the project.
I don't think we have a choice. I think the committee that went through the process with the architects actually came up with, and they were very thoughtful about getting the right size school for our community, our needs now and our needs going in the future. And from what I saw, I don't think that there are areas that can be cut.
Councilmember Frank Friedman says the project is an important investment in education.
I'm not excited about the indebtedness that City Council and the school board are looking to impose upon our community, but obviously our community is richly steeped in education, and I think it's making a bold statement.
Lexington City Manager John Elistad says property tax revenue will pay off the bulk of the project loan, but he is worried about the additional strain taxpayers will feel if there is a double-digit increase in property taxes. Some city residents think the tax increases are justified.
From just a self-interest standpoint, if we have high-quality city schools, I think it makes my property worth more.
But former City Council member Jerry Ney, who has lived in Lexington for nearly 40 years, says the City Council should be concerned about how the project affects the city's ability to finance other aging infrastructure. For example, the city estimates it will spend $1.1 million for water and sewer upgrades over the next 5 years.
You look at a long-range strategic budgeting, financial management, and you see what you can afford year by year, and you spread it out. And you mentioned earlier about whether it's a 20-year payout or a 24-year payout. How does that fit into the big picture?
Lexington City Schools Superintendent Dan Lyons says he is pleased with the City Council's reaction to the final cost estimate of $11.2 million.
And the economy really tanked, so I mean, they had a lot on their plates. So we were fortunate that they rose to the occasion and said education is really one of the top priorities.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Krista Huber.
Contractors will bid on the project in early March. The winning contractor is expected to break ground in June.
A 29-year-old Buena Vista woman is facing prison time on 2 sex charges arising from her work as a probation officer. Megan Fields pleaded guilty and was convicted January 29th of sex with a probationer. Drug and bribery charges were dropped. In a news release, Attorney General Mark Herring said Fields tainted public trust in the judicial system. Buena Vista residents have been waiting for more than 4 years to get their biggest source of their water back. It looks like they'll have to wait a while longer. Henley Babcock has the story.
Construction of Buena Vista's Dickinson Well is 3 months underway. The well was the city's largest water source until it was taken offline in 2009. The city has been working to bring it back since then and expects to have it running this fall.
Most projects are 3 to 5 years from the beginning of the identification of a problem to the final end of the project and putting the system back online. So we're hitting that 5-year window.
The Virginia Department of Health closed the well after detecting surface water in the system. The city must now treat the well water as if it were surface water. Mastrian says that means adding a filtration system.
Essentially, we're cleaning clean water, but we're actually physically removing any small particle in there that's, less than a micron. It's invisible to the eye.
The project will cost $2.8 million, but the city received $1 million of that from the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. In 2011, the city also raised its water and sewage rates by nearly $13 a month. The city will keep running the 3 wells currently online. When Dickinson Well comes back online, water production will double. City Manager Jay Scudder says the 2011 rate hike should cover the cost of bringing the well back up.
We got the water if the citizens use it. So it's not really costing anything, it's just extra capacity that we have.
The Dickinson Well is expected to go back online this fall.
What's going to be new is getting used to the filtration plant. That is something that I've never had to deal with that we'll get schooled on.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Henley Badcock.
Residents of the Rockbridge area are still waiting on a decision that might allow horizontal hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, in the George Washington National Forest. A decision on whether to ban horizontal fracking was supposed to come last spring, and a second decision deadline passed last summer. Private companies have already bought leases in the National Forest for natural gas exploration in case the Forest Service approves the horizontal procedure. Environmentalists are concerned that the chemicals used in the process could leak into local waterways, including the Maury River. The days of walking to the bank during lunch hour are ending for SunTrust Bank customers in downtown Lexington, and some of those customers aren't happy. They say they will move their accounts across the street to locally owned Cornerstone Bank. but business owners near SunTrust don't think the closing will have much impact on them. The branch is set to close May 2nd. A second SunTrust branch at Hunter Hill north of town will stay open.
Coming up, we'll tell you about problems emergency weather conditions are causing for northern travelers.
Current conditions are favorable, but will they stay throughout the weekend? Stay tuned on the Rockbridge Report.
And later, Patrick McCarron will show us what one local charity is doing to help out needy neighbors. Stay with us.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
2, 1.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah. That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Ever wonder what makes us, the Smurfs, so happy? The forest, of course. This is where we, along with the beautiful forest creatures, make our home with beautiful plant life, clean water, and endless adventures. It's a place to celebrate. So discover the forest with your family today. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Winter storms have hit yet again, affecting millions of people from the Midwest to the Northeast. CNN's Emily Schmidt has more.
Wednesday brought another winter math problem. Add ice to trees, add that to power lines, and it equals trouble. The new round of storms knocked out power lines, leaving people without power in the Northeast, mainly in Philadelphia, keeping power crews busy working and people in danger.
Every step I take, I'm at potential of falling.
New York City prepared for more snow, as much as 6 more inches of it, on top of the 8 inches it got on Monday. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie both declared states of emergency. Kansas City tried something new, asking businesses to stagger their hours to ease the wintry morning commute.
I enjoy the snow. It's tough when you have to get out in it.
Pictures prove how tough. A 4-car pileup on I-80 in Davenport, Iowa. Cars spun out in Indiana. Part of the Pennsylvania Turnpike closed after a tractor-trailer crashed through a barrier and hit vehicles on the other side. Air traffic is tied up too, canceling flights becoming way too normal. And at 3 airports, planes got stuck in the snow. People looking for relief might find déjà vu instead.
I shoveled this literally a couple minutes ago, and it's covered again.
Meteorologists say the 2 storms this week could be just the beginning, with a massive nor'easter threatening to hit early next week. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
It looks like we might be expecting some snow in our area too. Courtney Lewis is here to give us the forecast. Is it time to get the shovels out again, Courtney?
Current conditions are pretty consistent this week in Lexington. Right now, it's a high of 35 degrees and a low of 28. And tonight it could go down. The wind chill's 5 miles per hour, so it's not feeling too cold outside, but temperatures may go down again tonight. Let's take a look at our regional report. Temperatures are pretty consistent throughout this side of the state. Up in Charlottesville, it's about 38 degrees, while down in Roanoke, it's also 38 degrees. The only major difference is in Covington, where it's currently at 21 degrees over there in the Highlands. Not much going on with our radar report. However, if we do look at our 5-day forecast, temperatures will get a little higher tomorrow with a high of 43. However, be careful, on Saturday and Sunday there is a 40% chance of snow both days throughout the day, so take extra precautions if you have plans this weekend. And then back on Monday and Tuesday, it will get sunny again with a high of 32 and 36 degrees. I'm Courtney Lewis with your weather report. Back to you, Jeb.
Thanks, Courtney. Hopefully warmer weather will prevail throughout the weekend.
Local hunters are rooting for a bill that would make some hunting legal on Sunday. Hikers are worried about their safety, and some churchgoers think it would disrupt what is meant to be a quiet day. The measure cleared a Virginia Senate panel last Thursday after passing 71-27 in the House of Delegates. It would limit Sunday hunting to private property and open water, and it would ban hunting within 200 yards of a place of worship. The state Senate approved a similar bill in 2012, but it never made it out of a House of Delegates committee. The final Senate vote will most likely take place tomorrow. The Lexington-Rockbridge County Chamber of Commerce might be ready to catch up with new technology. Executive Director Sammy Moore says the chamber is looking at a phone app that would make discounts with local merchants more accessible. Athena Chow has more.
Right now, employees of the Chamber's member businesses can get a 10% discount on Coca Mouse chocolate, buy one get one free at Domino's Pizza, and find similar bargains with the Chamber Benefits card. The Chamber of Commerce started the benefits program 3 years ago to encourage shopping locally.
It added value if you were a member of the Chamber because your employees received this benefit, and then it brought more business into it.
About 8,000 employees and more than 500 Chamber members in Lexington, Buena Vista, and Rockbridge County got the card. Some find it helpful.
It's not a big discount. You know, it's a 10% discount. It's not going to hurt anybody, and it helps everybody.
But many card holders don't use the benefits card.
I've never actually used one or had a customer even show it to me, and I've been here for 3 years.
The Chamber might have a solution to the low enthusiasm for shopping locally and to remind people to use their benefits card.
We may develop an app so you could have it on your phone, just an app. You go into a place and it'll give you a list of the specials and things like that. If we can afford to buy the app, we think that could make such an impact. And we're actually looking at that this week, to be quite honest.
Moore says the app could cost anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000. If the Chamber decides to pay for the phone app, it will take about 2 months to develop it. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Athena Chow.
The former Buena Vista fire chief charged with forgery and obtaining money under false pretenses faces a hearing on March 7th. Butch Lawhorn was indicted on 77 counts on January 22nd. He was arrested and released on a bond of $10,000 2 days later. Lawhorn is accused of forging certificates for swift water rescue classes that he was not certified to teach. He charged students more than $200 for these classes. Officials and other individuals involved in the case refused to comment.
Next on the Rockbridge Report, find out what social media website celebrated its 10th birthday on Tuesday, and later we'll let you know about an exciting former CIA agent coming to speak at Lee Chapel at Washington and Lee.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're doing fine.
What did that just do?
Select the drop-down menu again.
Wait.
You're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payment. Submit. There it is.
Oh my God! I really can't believe it. That's awesome. Good for you.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Tuesday marked the 10th anniversary of Facebook. The social media site was created by Harvard sophomore Mark Zuckerberg to help his classmates find their friends online. By 2012, 1 billion people were logging on to Facebook at least once a month, and 81% of its current users live outside the United States and Canada.
Community Table is dishing out more than just food in its second year. Patrick McCarran has more.
Community Tables dinners are offered to those in need every Monday from 6 to 7:30 at the Rockbridge Area Relief Association building in Lexington. But for many, it's equally important as a gathering place. Donna Mabry volunteers every Monday and enjoys seeing familiar faces.
The food's good. Second reason, we have a good time here. It's almost become a community of friends.
Community Tables volunteers come from churches, universities, schools, local businesses, and volunteer groups. But some aren't members of any organization.
But most of them are just individuals, and we're just really excited with the teenagers that we now have working with us. We find that delightful, and so do the people that they serve.
Local resident Tom Brown enjoys working with his friends and his wife.
We're both retired, so it's very convenient for us to work here. I mean, we just enjoy doing it, and then we sit down with the folks that work here usually and have a meal.
Much of the food comes from local food banks, but local farmers and hunters also contribute.
It's amazing how this community has rallied around what we do.
Most Mondays feature live performances by local musicians. Tonight, Mark Taylor and his entire family are playing for the diners.
Part of the fun is just playing and singing for them while they have their dinner. We feel like we've developed a bit of a rapport with the people who come.
Still, Taylor does not lose sight of the main goals of Community Table. Guests are invited to donate what they can afford, but there's no pressure.
We have people who are very, very needy. We have people who want to help out, who can donate substantially to the cost of their meal.
Community Table is hoping to begin serving lunch on Wednesdays beginning of March. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Patrick McCarran.
For millions of Chinese people, the Lunar New Year is not only their biggest holiday, but likely their only vacation of the year. CNN's David McKenzie has the story.
The Spring Festival is in full swing here in China as Chinese bring in the Year of the Horse. So we've come here to the outskirts of Beijing, to the old Summer Palace where there's a temple festival. We've joined the thousands celebrating the Chinese New Year. This is a kuaijiao, or a sedan chair with porters that was used during bridal ceremonies to take the bride to get married. Of course, nowadays, rich Chinese don't do this anymore, but people can remember those old traditions during this festival. So the Spring Festival is also all about eating, and because it's winter, people want stuff that warms them up and is quick to eat, like these buns over here and the meatballs. And this is pig tripe cooked and boiled. So they boil the pig's intestine and the tofu for around 5 to 6 hours. The whole point of this dish is to get a quick burst of energy and warmth. And then you bite into the intestine and get that surge of strong flavor. You wouldn't think it necessarily, but this is quite delicious. The Spring Festival is the most important holiday of the year here in China. For many of these people, it will be the only time off they take this year. So as you can see, they want to make the best of it. David Mackenzie, CNN, Beijing.
Next, Erica Toma will be in the studio to tell us how local teams fared this week and what games we can look forward to in the next few days. Stay with us.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report.
Now we'll take you to Erica Tomo, who has the latest on Rockbridge County sports teams.
Let's take a break from the world stage and take a look at our recent high school games. Rockbridge County High School's boys basketball team looks to build on its win over James River Wednesday in a home game against conference foe Allegheny High School. Tonight, the 6'10 Wildcats tip off against the Mountaineers at home at 7 p.m. 5'11 Rockbridge County girls basketball team is also playing Allegheny tonight. The Lady Wildcats will take the court in Allegheny tonight at 7. Over in BV, the Perry McClure boys basketball team will play Covington tonight. This is the second time the Fighting Blues will play the Cougars. Earlier this week, the Blue and White defeated Covington in an overtime thriller. Perry McClure's girls will take on Highland County Saturday. The Rams will come to town to challenge the Fighting Blues Saturday afternoon at 1. The high schools may not hit the hardwood until tonight, but every college in the county played hoops last night. VMI's basketball team had yet another thriller last night. The Keydets were on the road playing Gardner-Webb. The Runnin' Bulldogs were riding a 3-game winning streak going into last night, but VMI had scored over 100 points in its last 2 games. Gardner-Webb hung with the Cadets, forcing 4 overtimes, but the Keydets' #1 ranked offense was too much for their Big South opponents. VMI had 4 players score over 20 points in a 108-104 victory. The men of Washington and Lee took the court last night, facing conference foe Shenandoah. The Generals knocked off Bridgewater last week and were hoping to start a run to improve their seeding in the ODAC tournament, but the Hornets were having none of that. Shenandoah shot almost 45% from the floor as a team, and while the Generals got a double-digit outing from Andrew Franz and Drew Kimberly, it wasn't enough to hold off the Hornets. WNL lost 73-64, keeping themselves at 10th place in the conference. And finally, BV's men took the court last night as well. That's right, the Knights of SVU took on Marymount University last night in Arlington. It was really a game between 2 teams looking to get on the right track. SVU, with only 4 wins on the season, was looking for a way out of their 5-game losing streak, and Marymount, with 12 wins, was looking to right the ship after dropping 3 straight. SVU guards Chris Baker and Preston Eaton both scored in double figures for the Knights, but the Saints ended the game shooting over 50% from the floor and earned the win 79-64. Only one women's basketball team played last night, but the other takes the floor this Saturday. The Knights of SVU took on Marymount University last night. SVU's women were sporting a 3-16 record going into last night with losses in all 8 of their road games. Sophomore center Crystal Cleveland did have 9 points and 11 rebounds for the Knights, but it wasn't enough as the green and white lost 54-45. Washington and Lee's women are away on Saturday against conference rival Roanoke. Junior captain Annie Goff has been on fire lately, averaging just over 14 points and 4 assists in the Generals' last 4 games, including a 22-point effort in a loss to Eastern Mennonite on Tuesday. Watch Goff and the Generals tip off against the Roanoke Maroons Saturday at 2 p.m. That's all the sports we've got for you here on the Rockbridge Report. I'm Eric Utomo.
Thanks, Eric. Sounds like Perry McClure did well. Hopefully other area teams can pick up the slack. Tony Menendez, the former CIA agent whose story inspired the Academy Award-winning film Argo, will be speaking in Lee Chapel at Washington and Lee tonight at 7 p.m. The event is open and free to the public. Doors will open at 6:30 p.m. That's all for tonight. Thanks for tuning in to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Jeb Purcell.
And I'm Laura Lindsay Tatum. Be sure to visit us on the web at www.rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net. Thank you and good night.